Konasvin sampratam loke gunavan kascha viryavan dharmajnasya kritajnascha satyavakyo dridavratah charitrena cha koyuktaha dharmabhuteshu kohitaha vidvan kah samarthascha kaschaika priyadarshanaha atmavan ko jitakrodaha dyutiman konasuyakaha kasya bibhyati devascha jataroshasya samyuge. These were the 16 auspicious attributes that Valmiki posed to sage Narad, asking, Hey Narad Maharishi, in this world, in the present world, is there some person, is there some human being who has all the 16 auspicious attributes? So, what were the 16 auspicious attributes? Konasvin sampratam loke gunavan, one who has all the important qualities, kascha viryavan, who is valorous, dharmagyascha, one who follows dharma, kritajnascha, one who is grateful, satyavakyo, one who always adheres to what he has said, what he has promised, dridhavrataha, one who is steadfast, charitrena cha koyuktaha, one who gives importance to the right character, sarvabhuteshu kohitaha, one who thinks good for all living creatures, vidwan, who himself is a scholar, kahka samarthascha, one who is very smart, kaschaika priyadarshanaha, one who is also very pleasing, very charming, atmavan, one who has realized himself, one who has realized what is his swarupam, atmavan, ko jitakrodaha, one who has won or had a victory over anger, dyutiman, one who has all the necessary qualities, ko anasuyakaha, one who is never jealous of others, kasya bibhyati devascha, one who is even feared by the gods, jataroshasya samyuge. So with all these attributes, is there one person, he asked, because it is very easy to find one person who is bestowed with one of these attributes. You can find people who are very grateful, you can find people who are great scholars, but those scholars might have not won over anger. People who have won over anger need not be scholars. So to find one single person who encompasses all these 16 attributes, that was a task. Remember one particular thing. When Valmiki asked all these questions, here comes another important doubt that comes in our hearts. Valmiki, who wrote the Ramayana, who recorded the Ramayana, who composed the Ramayana, was the one who lived after Ram, before Ram, or while at the time of Ram. The question can very well be answered in whatever verses I have stated. When Valmiki asked Narad, Hey Narad Rishi, is there one single person who has all the 16 auspicious attributes in the present world? He said, Konasvin sampratam loke gunavan, sampratam lokam, samprate loke means the present world. Now, currently, hey Narad Rishi, during my time, while you are here and while I am here, is there one person who has all the 16 qualities? Was his question. So, this very well answers our doubt that Valmiki was very much a person who lived during the time of Ram. Well, to substantiate the fact, I need to tell you two other incidents. When Ram, along with his wife Sita and brother Lakshman, are on an exile, they go hermitage after hermitage. They go ashram after ashram. They go to the hermitage or ashram of Sutikshna, Sharabhanga, while they also go to Agastya ashram, while they also go to the ashram of Valmiki Maharishi. Another incident happens in the last kandam of Ramayanam, the last canto of Ramayanam, which is called as the Uttara Kandam, where the pregnant Sita delivers her children Love and Kush in the ashram of Valmiki. So Valmiki very much existed, lived during the time of Ram. So while he asked this question to Narad Rishi, Hey Narad, in this present world, in currently, Konasvin sampratam loke gunavan, kascha viryavan, dharmajnascha, kritajnascha, satyavakyo, dridhavrataha, charitrena cha koyuktaha, dharmabhuteshu kohitaha, Vidwan kakkas samarthascha kastraika priyadarshanaha atmaban ko jitakrodaha dhutiman ko nasuyakaha kasya bibhyati devascha jataroshasya samyuge. So he said 16 auspicious attributes. You remember? In the previous episode, we spoke of the word tapa. Tapaha means to contemplate. Tapaha alochane dhatu. And for that word, I narrated a certain incident from Bhagavat where Brahma was created on the lotus and he started contemplating, and then a voice said, hey Brahma, contemplate on that particular alphabet, the 16th alphabet. The 16th alphabet is Ta, which is the first alphabet of the word Tapa. Hence, to commemorate that particular Tapaha with which Ramayana began, here Valmiki poses a person with 16 auspicious attributes. Fine. But now comes the question. Saint Ramanuja says that the Lord is a repository of innumerable qualities. He has countless number of qualities. Asankheya kalyana gunaganam. When it says innumerable, and here I say 16, which is a number, how do I bring the connection between the two? Though there are innumerable number of qualities to the Lord, to us primitive mortals who know everything only with the count, here Valmiki brings the number to 16. Now Narad Maharishi, instead of giving the instantaneous reply, he says, okay, now let me tell you the answer. Isn't this quite surprising? If he knew the answer, he should have said, hey Valmiki, me, who's Narad Maharishi, knows everything and I am going to tell you the answer immediately. He knew the answer, yet he said, and then he said the answer. Why? Because there is one interesting example which my Acharya would give it to me. I go to my friend's place, my friend has made great halwa. He gives me a plate full of halwa to me. I take it by a spoon, I taste it, I eat it. And then while I am just about to taste the second spoon, he would ask, how is the halwa? I have made the halwa, how is it? And I would say, just give me a minute. It was very good. So when I would taste it, I would experience it first and then tell how it is. Likewise, though Narad Maharishi knew the answer, he said, I would want to experience that name first, and let me tell you. Hey Valmiki, I know that single person who has all the 16 auspicious attributes. Can I tell you? Ikshvaku Vamshaf Prabhavo Ramo Nama Janaishrutaha. In the great clan of Ikshvaku is born the great son to Dasharath called Ram. Ikshvaku Vamshaf Prabhavo Ramo Nama Janaishrutaha Niyatatma Mahaviro Dhyutiman. So he is the one who has all the 16 qualities that you have said. Hey Valmiki. Valmiki was surprised. Oh, is it Dasharath's son Ram who has all the 16 auspicious attributes? Yes, undoubtedly. He is the only one to exist in this world who has all the 16 auspicious attributes. That's interesting, he said. And while Narad Maharishi gave this reply, he went away giving this reply. Yet, there was something that was troubling Valmiki from inside. He did not know how to express it. He expressed it once, Narad Maharishi gave the answer. Then he went along with his students, of whom the prime disciple was Bharadwaj. They went. Instead of actually going to Sarayu Nadi, Sarayu river, where they would go and bathe, they went to this great river called as Tamasa. They went to this Tamasa river, and while they were going, Valmiki Rishi saw a beautiful tree. He was looking at the tree as if for the first time he was looking at the tree, and on the branch of that particular tree was seated a male bird and a female bird. While he was looking at the love-making scene of the male and the female bird, he saw that the male bird was shot with an arrow and it fell down. He saw the female bird weeping at this particular scene. This is a beautiful verse which reads, Satutiram samasadhya tamasaya munistada sishyamaha sthitam parshve drishtva Tirthamakardamam. It started shedding tears. While the female bird was shedding tears, there is another verse which speaks about the same incident. Bharyatu nihatam drishtva rurava karunam giram viyukta patinatena dvijena sahacharina tamrasirshena mattena patrina sahitena vai. There are two meanings, or there are two interpretations to this particular verse. The first verse or the first interpretation is, while the female bird was separated from the male bird was killed, the female bird was weeping. It also means that the bird, Dvijaha, why is the bird called as Dvijaha? Interestingly, in Sanskrit, Dvijaha, the word means that which is born twice. Bird is born twice. How? The mother bird lays its egg, and the egg from the egg hatches the little sibling. From the bird comes the egg, and again from the egg comes the little one. Why? The tooth is also called Dvijaha because it's born twice. You have the milk teeth, and the milk teeth falls at a certain age, and then you have the permanent teeth. So it's Dvijaha. Why? The three classes of people, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas, all three of them are also called as Dvijaha because they are born from the mother's womb. At the age of 7, they undergo the thread ceremony. So it's regarded as a rebirth for them. Hence, they are also called as Dvijaha. The tooth, the bird, and the Brahmin, the Vaishya and the Kshatriyas, they are also called as Dvijaha. This verse which I said speaks about this particular episode where the male bird was killed and the female bird was crying. So the bird was crying and the male bird was dead, and the Rishi was sad about it. But commentators of Ramayana who came later speak of the implied meaning of the shloka. They say that the male bird whose none but Ravan was killed and the female bird, his wife Mandodari, wept over his death, and both of them had copper-like hair, tamrasirshena. And it also speaks that Ravan was a Dvijaha because he was the son of a Brahmin. Hence, he was also a Brahmin, and hence he was also a Dvijaha. Hence, this is the meaning of this particular verse. Valmiki, who was looking at the male bird die, the female bird weep, and the hunter having a nice time there by having killed the male bird, had so much of anguish in him. The sadness, the sorrow, that shokaha, when it reached his throat and then his tongue, it turned into a shloka. Shokaha, shlokatvam agataha. The shokaha, the sorrow, when it reached the tip of his tongue, turned into a Sanskrit shloka. Shokaha, shlokatvam agataha. With that sorrow which emerged as the verse, he looked at that hunter and said, Ma nishada yat pratishtham tvam agamashashvati samaha yat krauncha mitunad ekam avadhihi kamamohitam. O you hunter, I now curse you. Like how you have separated the male bird from the female bird, likewise you will also be separated from your female bird, and you will also experience the same feeling as what this female bird or the male bird had. This was his curse. Hence he said, Ma nishada yat pratishthantvam agamashashvati samaha yat krauncha mitunad ekam avadhihi kamamohitam. But after having uttered this particular curse on that particular hunter, Valmiki came back to his ashram and started contemplating. I, Valmiki, who is always so calm and composed, how did this anger after all come in me? How did this anger turn into a shloka? How did I even utter a curse on that hunter whom I do not know? It is after all a hunter's hobby and profession to hunt. And why did I get that particular sorrow? And after all, today, looking at this, and how did this curse come? While I have been seated here thinking on Ram to compose the beautiful epic on Ram, how come the first verse, how come the first uttering from my mouth be a curse? Why? Can't anybody solve this question? While he was contemplating and worried on how to resolve this particular curse, there appeared not Narad, but Narad's father, the four-faced Brahma, who appeared before Valmiki and said, Valmiki, do not feel bad that you have uttered a curse. This is not a curse, but this is a blessing. Valmiki was startled. He said, Brahma, have I uttered a blessing? Not at all. I have uttered a curse. How come you interpret this curse as a blessing? That time, Brahma said, just wait for my interpretation. What does Ma mean? Ma was the first alphabet of my curse. What does that Ma denote? Ma denotes Mahalakshmi. Yeah, Ma denotes Mahalakshmi. So you have begun with Mahalakshmi. Yeah, that's fine. Ma denotes Mahalakshmi, but it was a curse after all, Brahma. Not at all. Ma nishada yat pratishtantvam agama shashvati samaha yat krauncha mitunad ekam avadhihi kamamohitam. While you said Ma, it denotes Mahalakshmi. It also denotes the one who is the consort of Mahalakshmi, one who is the Shriyapati, one who is Narayan. You said that they will be separated. Yes, Narayan and Lakshmi would be born on this earth, they would be separated. And while their separation will lead to this great epic, then this will lead to people in the future generations praising how they lived. I didn't get your point, Brahma, said Valmiki to Brahma. That time Brahma said, Hey Valmiki, while Narayan will be born as Ram and Lakshmi will be born as Sita, they will be separated by a third person, a demon called as Ravan. And through this separation will emerge this great epic poem called as Ramayana. And this Ramayana is the one which will be praised for generation after generation, is the one that will be praised yuga after yuga. So don't ever worry. The first uttering that came from your mouth, the first verse was not a curse but a blessing. And while leaving that particular scene, Brahma blessed Valmiki. But what was his blessing? All that he said that his curse was not a blessing. All that he said was his verse is not a curse but a blessing. But what was a blessing that exclusively Brahma gave to Valmiki? Let's check for what was that blessing in the next episode. Thank you.